follow this tutorial to the end and you'll have a 24/7 AI chatbot that uncovers viral content ideas from conversations with people in your business DMs. And the first thing you want to do is visit botpress.com. This is where we will build the AI agent that will actually talk to people on your Instagram and turn conversations into content ideas. You want to either log into your Botpress account if you already have one, or select try for free, create an account and sign in. Once you're in, you should be on a page that looks like this. And essentially, if you already have an AI agent here, you just want to select edit in studio to go into the studio and begin editing it. Or if you find your dashboard empty, your Botpress dashboard empty, just select create bot and then select Botpress Studio as the method that you want to build with. If you do create a new bot, when you log in to the studio, it should take you to a page like this, asking if you want guided setup or you want to start from scratch. Just select start from scratch because I'll show you how to do everything, and you should land on a page that looks like this. I'll start by removing this get started video by Botpress. And essentially all we shall do is edit this autonomous node to make it able to handle a conversation with someone over Instagram, essentially help them, provide them with information, and just talk to your leads and sort them out. I'll just be making a simple help AI chatbot, so it should be able to be a friendly conversational assistant as it already is, and be able to answer information from the knowledge base that we're going to give to it, essentially. So just to host a simple conversation with people over Instagram. So to start by giving it knowledge, come into this book icon on the far left of your screen, click that, and then we will just upload a document. You can upload multiple formats, you can link your website. So actually I will go ahead and link my website, ivyflowai.com, and discover pages. After a few seconds, it should be able to find my website, everything in it, and add that. And I can then upload a document about my business as well for it to find information from. And by the way, Ivyflow AI is my AI agency. We build AI chatbots and agents that scale businesses for admin, converting customers, and for customer support as well. So if you want to book a call with me, the link is the first one in the video description below. So I've uploaded an Ivyflow AI knowledge base text. Essentially it's a .txt file. You can upload files in any of these other formats. I'll just confirm that, and just like that, my bot should have that knowledge, and so we're done with that section. Now the next thing that we'll do is give your AI chatbot the ability to also detect when a conversation is ending and then automatically transition to the end. So to do that, just add a transition over here by clicking this button, and then down here where it says condition in natural language, just type conversation ending and select enter to confirm that, and then connect this output dot over here to the end node. And what that will do is, as soon as it detects that a conversation is ending, it will send the user to the conversation end workflow, and then it will end the conversation. But you also have to tell the autonomous node when to send the user down here. So click back here and click on instructions. Then down here at the bottom of all of this text, you want to say the following. Essentially say transition to, and then add a space. And in this space, you want to select the conversation ending transition, which should be down here if you follow the steps in the last few seconds. And so transition to conversation ending when the conversation ends, and then in brackets, just give it criteria for when the conversation is ending, such as the user has no more questions and doesn't need any more help/support. You can then close this and test it out over here by just saying hi, going through a conversation, and then saying that you want to end or that you have no more questions. So you can see I said I have nothing, please end, and the conversation ended, meaning it flowed through here at the correct time. Great. Now the next thing is extremely important. This is now where we build the actual logic that turns conversation transcripts into content ideas. The first thing that you want to do is give your AI chatbot access to the conversation transcript, which it doesn't have naturally. The way you do it is by using what's known as the summary agent. To enable it, come into the left column over here and select agents, this little bot icon, and you should see your summary agent as disabled, but you want to click on this and enable it. This will allow your AI chatbot to generate summaries of conversations and to look into these summaries of conversations. And the way you can now access the transcript of the conversation is using this variable down here under the exposed variables. Just click on it to copy, and you should see variable copy to clipboard, and you can click on that again just to make sure, and then you can now exit over here. The next thing that we'll do is come into the workflow section, and we will build the logic for when our conversation ends to essentially turn that conversation transcript into a content idea. So select the conversation end workflow, and it should send you to a page that looks something like this. Now this workflow is what a user flows in through every time that their conversation ends. So whenever a conversation ends with any person who is talking to your AI chatbot, this workflow will flow. Whatever you put in here will essentially be executed right before the conversation ends. So this is the perfect place for us to put the logic to turn that conversation transcript into a content idea. In this node over here, you want to add a card and you want to search for AI task. Now an AI task is essentially like an opportunity to prompt the AI with an input and instructions to get it to produce an output. So in the input, we will give it the transcript to the conversation and simply type conversation transcript, and then add a colon and paste Command V, the variable that we just copied, the exposed variable that we just copied from the AI agent, from the summary AI agent over here. So copy this and paste it over here as the input. Then I've actually already drafted a full prompt for the instructions for you, which you can find in the video description below. Go ahead and open that document and copy it now. When you go into the document, it should look something like this. Just copy all of this and paste it over here in the instructions. And there's a few things you want to change. Number one, you want to change the examples. So over here, I said the user might ask about pricing, and you would then create a content idea about the pricing of AI chatbots. Obviously, this is for my business, an AI business, but if you have something else like a real estate agency, you might have something like the user might ask a question about the process of getting a house, and then you would then create a content idea about our process of getting a house. So just edit the examples to make sure they fit your business's context, and then also edit this text up here to replace this with your business name. So I'd put Ivyflow AI over here, but you can change this to fit your business name, and everything else should be fine. And by the way, if you want to generate your own instructions for the AI prompt of the AI task, you can do that using AI. That's exactly what I did. It's super quick and easy. I just told it to create a prompt. You can read this yourself. Essentially, just pause the video and read through it. But that's what I told it, and it generated a plain text prompt that I could then edit over here in Botpress Studio. Now, the next thing that you need to do is, after you've given it instructions and then input, you need to give your AI chatbot a place to store the output content idea. And I've told it to output it as a JavaScript object, which you don't need to know what that means. Just come over here into your bottom left corner. Once again, first go back into workflows and the conversation end workflow. And then over here, create a new variable and let's call it output. And then change its type to object. So it's a JavaScript object, and then just add by selecting enter. Once you have that variable here, you can come to this section where it says store the result in variables, and you should be able to reference it by seeing it down here and just clicking it. So it will store the result in the workflow.output variable over here. And now it's literally just time to test if any of this works. So select add a card and add a text card, and then select type at and say workflow.output, just to get it to output whatever's in this variable as text, so that we can see if it actually stores the right content idea based off a conversation. And then add card again, and let's just add a wait for user input card, just to get it to wait for the user's input before ending the conversation finally, just so we can make sure everything works. Then come into the emulator and start a new conversation using this reload icon in the top, and just say hi, ask a few questions about a topic. So for example, ask about pricing, or ask about the process of your business, a certain process in your business, and then say that you want to end the conversation, and we shall analyze whether it actually outputs a content idea related to what you talked about in the conversation. And for some reason, the first time that you usually do it, it doesn't work. So just restart the conversation again and say it a second time, every single message you sent. So just say hi, ask the same questions again, and then you should get your correct output. And there you go. So I asked about AI chatbot security, and it wasn't able to answer the questions because that information isn't in the knowledge base. So I would go and add that later. But essentially, you can see that I then told it I have nothing, please end, and it output the object the topic, AI chatbot security in healthcare, as the topic of the content idea, the intention to educate healthcare business owners on key security considerations, the actual content of what it would explain, and then a format such as a carousel or a video, etc. So now I can see that it's actually able to turn the conversation transcript into a content idea. But the next step is now to send this content idea to Airtable so that you don't have to come into Botpress to check the conversations, but instead you can actually view the content ideas that are being output from the conversations happening inside your DMs from your Airtable account. Oh yeah, real quick before we continue, you might want to know that my AI agency, Ivyflow AI, builds AI chatbots and agents for businesses like yours. So if you want to book a call with me, the link is in the video description below. You don't have to go about this process alone. And by the way, if this video is helping you out, go ahead and share it with another business friend of yours. Even if they're in a different niche, it will be super helpful for them and they will thank you for it. Let's get back into the video. So to connect your AI chatbot to Airtable, here's exactly what you should do. Just start by copying the link to the Airtable template that's in the video description below, and then create a new tab and paste that link in, and it should send you to something that looks like this. And essentially all you want to do is select copy base, and if you do have an Airtable account, sign in, but if you don't have one, just create an account. So I'll go ahead and create an Airtable account, continue through the entire process, and then you can skip this little advertisement to upgrade to a plan, and you should land on a page that looks like this, but you want to skip over to the main view and I'll show you how it works. So essentially the way Airtable works is you have this multiple views, but I created this Kanban view where Botpress will spit out content ideas into this section, and then you can come in here, move this to drafted, for example, and then just edit the content, for example, as you plan it and prepare to post it. And then when you finally posted it, you can move it to the posted section. So not only does this track your content ideas, but it kind of helps you organize the different pieces of content as you move them to drafted, and then as you move them to posted. And by the way, you can add columns. So I'll add a column and say edited, and I'll change its color to perhaps purple, and then move it right here before posted. So after drafting content, then I'll move it to edited, then posted, etc. But essentially now that you have the content planner set up, you can actually change this from template. You can delete the word template because now it's fully yours. It's no longer a template inside your account. First of all, you want to start by bookmarking this page to your browser so that you can always come back and access it and look at all your content ideas and drafts and edited and posted. So that should be Command D on both Chrome and Safari, but if not, just bookmark it whichever way you usually bookmark it. So you can see I'll add this page to LH and just add. And when you head back into your Botpress studio, go into the integration hub in the top right and search for Airtable, and then select that, and you want to install the integration to your AI chatbot. And once you're done, the next step is to connect with Auth. So select this little button here, select connect with Auth in this tab that pops up, and essentially you should see that the Botpress integration is requesting Airtable access. And in case you're not getting this pop-up, just make sure you're using the same browser and the same account for both your Botpress and your Airtable. And then over here, when you choose what Botpress integration has access to, you can select custom spaces and then just add the content planner base to only give it access to that, and then select grant access. It should say authentication successful after a few seconds, and then this tab should automatically close just like that. And inside your Botpress studio, it should confirm it to you. There we go, connected. After you've deleted the cards, you want to right click anywhere on the canvas and add an autonomous node by clicking this, and then you want to connect this endpoint to the autonomous node and add a transition to the autonomous node called done. Select enter, and then connect the output of that to the end node. Inside this autonomous node, we want to start by giving it access to the create record tool. So search for create and select this create record tool under Airtable. This will allow it to create a new record in Airtable and push the content idea out to that record. And then over here in the variables, we want to give it access to the workflow.output variable by simply clicking that. That will allow it to read the content idea before it pushes it out. Just to show you how to do that again, come into variables, select add variable, and then select output over here. And you don't have to give it right access. That is fine. Now, the next thing you want to do is come back into the AI task prompt document, and at the very bottom of it, you should see this text, autonomous node instructions for pushing to Airtable. Copy this, these are the instructions. Come back into this autonomous node you've just created, edit its instructions by clicking there, and then paste that in. But then over here where you see this first set of square brackets, you want to delete those and instead select the create record tool. So it should read, use the Airtable create record tool. And then don't send any message to the user, simply do the task and then transition immediately to the square brackets again. So delete those square brackets and select the done transition. So simply do the task and transition immediately to done when you have finished. You can add a full stop there and then close this and it should be done. The next thing you can do is once again repeat the process of having a conversation with it and then saying you're done with the conversation, and it should be able to now push the exact content idea it has created into your Airtable account over here, and you should see it under the ideas column. Come back into this autonomous node you've just created, edit its instructions by clicking there and then paste that in. But then over here where you see this first set of square brackets, you want to delete those and instead select the create record tool. So it should read, use the Airtable create record tool. And then don't send any message to the user, simply do the task and then transition immediately to the square brackets again. So delete those square brackets and select the done transition. So simply do the task and transition immediately to done when you have finished. You can add a full stop there and then close this and it should be done. The next thing you can do is once again repeat the process of having a conversation with it and then saying you're done with the conversation, and it should be able to now push the exact content idea it has created into your Airtable account over here, and you should see it under the ideas column. But before you do that, one last thing I'll tell you to do is to actually upgrade the AI behind this autonomous node to one that's slightly stronger. So go to advanced settings and I'll actually change this and select override default model. So instead of using Gemini 2.5, it will override that and use something that's much more powerful. So I'll actually go with Claude Opus 4.6, and that should make it a little more accurate in storing the data to Airtable and make it way more consistent as well. Now I'll go ahead and test it. Once you've gone through your conversation, you should see that the conversation should end fine. And if I come into my content planner over here and scroll to the very bottom, I can see it has just added a card, AI chatbot personalities. The post will explain whether AI chatbots can be given distinct personalities, clarifying common misconceptions, etc. So it has created this post idea. And if I go back over here, you can see that my question was, I've been wondering whether AI chatbots can be given personalities. And you can then just go ahead and test it and make sure that everything is perfect by taking it through different conversations, etc. But once that's done, you essentially now want to move on to perhaps the most important part of this entire build, which is connecting it to Instagram. So start by going to the integration hub up here, search for Instagram. And once you see it over here, you simply want to install it to your workspace, just like we installed Airtable by selecting install integration. It's installed, just select connect with auth, and it should pop up a tab on your left like this once again, and you want to log into your Instagram account. Just make sure it's a business Instagram account, otherwise this will not work. But once you've done that, you can just select login and go through the entire process to make sure you actually signed into Instagram. Follow all of the next steps that it will bring up after it finishes loading, and then you should be connected to Instagram. You can now come back into your studio and you just want to hit publish in the top right corner to publish the latest version of your AI chatbot to Instagram, and it should tell you your AI chatbot is published to WebChat and Instagram. And just like that, you can then begin to interact with that Instagram account, get customers to interact with it, and you should begin to see your content planner populating with different content ideas based on the conversations that your AI chatbot is having. Now, everything I've shown you is something you can absolutely go ahead and build by yourself right now, but if you're a business owner who wants it done for you properly and without you having to invest a bunch of time into it. This is exactly what my AI agency, Ivyflow AI, builds for businesses like yours. So go ahead and book a call with us with the link in the video description below, and I can't wait to see you there.